The courtroom of Zarinthia was vast and alien, filled with beings whose forms seemed impossible to human eyes. Some had translucent skin that shimmered with inner light, while others had multiple limbs, moving with perfect, synchronized grace. The air vibrated with whispers in languages Marcus could not understand, a mixture of musical tones and harsh clicks. Every gaze in the hall turned toward him as he stepped forward, his human feet making a soft, almost insignificant sound on the polished floor. He could feel the weight of 1,000 eyes upon him, eyes that had never seen a human before. Marcus's heart thudded in his chest, each beat echoing like a drum in his ears. He had traveled across light years, leaving behind the familiar blue skies of Earth for this strange, glittering galaxy. Humans were considered fragile here, soft, unpredictable, and incapable of surviving the vast challenges of the cosmos. But Marcus had a different kind of strength, determination, empathy, and a stubborn courage that had carried him through countless dangers back home. Today, that courage would be tested in ways he had never imagined. The doors at the far end of the hall opened with a low hum, and every alien present instinctively turned toward them. Queen Alara appeared. She was taller than any human had a right to imagine, her skin a living spectrum of colors that shifted as if it were reflecting her thoughts. Her eyes, large and luminous, fixed on Marcus with an intensity that made the room fall completely silent. Even the most seasoned counselors, beings who had seen centuries of politics and diplomacy, seemed momentarily frozen by her presence. Marcus's chest tightened. He had heard stories of Alara, how she ruled with wisdom, feared by enemies, revered by allies, a queen whose decisions shaped entire star systems. And now she was walking toward him, her steps slow and deliberate, as if measuring every inch of his presence. The room's temperature felt different to him, charged with anticipation and a strange, thrilling electricity. When she reached the center of the hall, she did something no one had predicted. She knelt before him. The crown on her head tilted slightly, glinting under the radiant light of the chamber. Her gaze never wavered. The words that followed were simple but heavy with consequence. "Human, you're mine now." The murmurs erupted immediately, a tidal wave of shock sweeping through the council. Aliens with multiple voices choked in confusion. Some waved their hands in disbelief, their limbs shaking. A human could never be chosen in this way. The very laws of Zarinthia forbade such unions. And yet here she was, openly declaring a human her chosen one. Marcus felt the world tilt beneath him. Fear surged first, raw and unrelenting. His mind raced with questions. What did this mean? Could a human survive this? Would he be crushed under expectations he could not even imagine? But beneath the fear, something else awakened, a small, burning spark of pride. He was human, yes, fragile by their standards, but he was alive and he had been seen, chosen. For the first time, he understood a truth he had only glimpsed in stories of Earth heroes. Courage was not the absence of fear, but the act of standing tall despite it. He swallowed hard, trying to steady his trembling hands. Alara's voice, calm and unwavering, cut through the whispers of the court. "I have chosen him because he is human. His mind, his heart, his spirit, they are stronger than any council law. He will stand with me, and together we will shape a future none can predict." Marcus's heart raced faster, pounding like a signal flare in the vast darkness of space. He glanced around, seeing the counselors' faces twist with disbelief, confusion, and grudging curiosity. And then he looked back at her, Queen Alara, and for the first time he realized that being human did not mean being weak. It meant being extraordinary in ways that even the most advanced civilizations could not fully comprehend. The chamber remained tense, every eye fixed on them, but Marcus felt a strange calm wash over him. This was the moment that would define him, the moment when humanity's place among the stars would begin, not with weapons, not with treaties, but with courage, heart, and the unexpected bond between a queen and a human. And with that thought, Marcus took a deep breath and met Alara's gaze, ready for whatever storm this declaration might bring. The courtroom did not recover quickly from Queen Alara's declaration. Whispers became louder, voices clashing in sharp, discordant tones. Many counselors were enraged, shaking their limbs and waving appendages in frustration. Some argued that a human could never comprehend the responsibilities of interstellar politics. Others whispered that Alara's choice was reckless, that she had endangered her own reputation and the stability of her kingdom. Marcus stood in the center, feeling the weight of 1,000 judgments pressing down on him. His heart raced, but he did not step back. He noticed the way some aliens studied him with suspicion, as if trying to find a flaw, a sign that he was unworthy. Their eyes, some round and bright, others slitted and calculating, made him feel like an experiment under scrutiny. Marcus swallowed hard, his pulse hammering in his ears. Humans were not supposed to be chosen for such positions, and yet here he was, alive, standing tall, and facing a council that had never believed someone like him could matter. Queen Alara remained calm. She had expected resistance, but not such an overwhelming storm of doubt. Her gaze, unwavering, remained locked on Marcus. Every movement she made, every gesture seemed to echo authority and confidence. Her hand reached out, brushing gently against his arm, grounding him. That touch was soft, reassuring, and full of intent. It spoke without words. "I believe in you. You belong here." Marcus felt a wave of warmth that countered the fear rising inside him. His mind, sharpened by years of struggle on Earth, began to focus. He realized that this moment was not just about being chosen. It was about proving that humans could rise beyond expectation. He straightened his back, his voice steady despite the tremor in his chest. "I may be human," he said, speaking loudly enough that the entire hall could hear, "but I am not weak. My heart, my mind, and my will are strong. I will not fail her, and I will not fail anyone who believes in me." A hush fell over the chamber. The counselors, taken aback, could not hide their surprise. Humans were known for their courage, yes, but none had ever spoken with such clarity, such fearless resolve before beings who had existed for centuries. Marcus felt the weight of their astonishment, and it bolstered him. He realized that the council's shock was not his enemy. It was an opportunity to show them what humanity could achieve. Some of the younger council members leaned forward, curiosity replacing suspicion in their multicolored eyes. Others, older and more traditional, hissed in displeasure. Yet even their sharp disapproval could not dim the spark Marcus felt growing inside. He understood something profound. Being human meant embracing fear and turning it into action. It meant standing tall even when the world expected you to crumble. Queen Alara's voice broke the tension, calm but firm. "I have seen countless civilizations," she said, her tone echoing like crystal across the chamber. "I have walked among rulers who thought power alone defined them. None moved me like this human. Marcus may be fragile by your standards, but he carries strength in ways you cannot measure. He is mine to guide, and together we will achieve what no one else could." The council murmured again, uncertainty rippling through them. Marcus felt something he had never known before, a mixture of fear, pride, and belonging. For the first time in his life, being human did not feel like a limitation. It felt like a promise. He glanced at Alara and saw her eyes glimmering with a mixture of hope and determination. In that glance, he understood that they were not just partners in a declaration. They were allies in a journey that would challenge conventions, defy expectations, and reshape the galaxy's view of humanity. The murmurs continued, but Marcus no longer feared them. He stood taller, breathing deeply, ready to face whatever challenges would come next. Today, he was not just a human in an alien courtroom. Today, he was a symbol of courage, a spark of unpredictability, and a reminder that even the smallest species could shine brightest when the universe expected them least. And so, the shockwave of Alara's words rippled through the court, but Marcus stood firm, ready to embrace the storm and prove that humans were not only survivors, they were extraordinary. The council's outrage did not subside. Instead, it escalated into a formal trial, one designed to test Marcus in every way possible. The chamber had transformed into a courtroom of judgment, its alien architecture imposing and cold. Crystal panels reflected light in strange angles, creating patterns that disoriented even seasoned diplomats. Counselors took their seats in towering chairs, their limbs twitching in impatience. Every movement, every glance, was a silent accusation. Marcus felt the weight of centuries pressing down upon him. Queen Alara remained by his side, a steady presence amidst the storm. Her touch, light but insistent, reminded him that he was not alone. The council's leader, a massive creature with 6 eyes and a voice like rolling thunder, spoke first. "Human," he intoned, "you face scrutiny not because of your heart but because your species is unpredictable. Explain why the Queen should defy centuries of protocol to claim you as her own." Marcus took a deep breath. His fingers flexed, his pulse quickened, but he did not flinch. Humans had always been underestimated, their small size and fragile bodies masking a spirit that refused to be controlled. This was his chance to show them what humanity truly meant. "I am human," he began, his voice steady, "and that is exactly why I am here. We survive when others fail. We fight when hope seems lost. We create solutions when all logic tells us to stop. I am not perfect and I will make mistakes, but I will never give up and I will never betray her." A murmur ran through the council. Aliens leaned closer, listening with eyes wide, many unable to mask their surprise. Humans had spoken bravely before, yes, but never in a way that challenged the authority of an entire interstellar assembly. Marcus's words were simple, yet each syllable carried the weight of Earth's countless struggles. Wars fought, disasters endured, dreams achieved against impossible odds. One counselor hissed, clearly irritated. "Words are easy, human. What proof do you offer that you are capable of bearing responsibility beyond your planet?" Marcus's chest tightened. Proof. He had none in the form of trophies or conquests like these alien rulers, but he had something they could not measure: adaptability, instinct, and courage born from survival. "I may not have conquered empires," he replied, "but I have survived when everything was against me. I have faced dangers that no law could prepare me for. I have protected those weaker than myself, stood up for what was right, and fought with every part of my being for the people I care about. That is the proof I offer." The council fell silent. Silence in Zarinthia was louder than any shout, heavy and suffocating. Marcus felt his heart pound, but he kept his gaze steady on the assembly. Alara's hand gripped his lightly, her confidence bolstering him. For the first time he sensed a shift. Not all eyes were doubting him anymore. Some were questioning their assumptions. Some were beginning to see that humans might be more than fragile creatures. Alara rose, her voice calm but firm. "The Council forgets that strength is not only measured in power or longevity. The human before you carries resilience, creativity, and a spirit that challenges all expectation. I trust him because he is human, and that is a gift the galaxy has never understood. Marcus will stand with me, and together we will prove that even a species considered small can alter the course of the universe." Gasps filled the chamber. The council's leader's 6 eyes narrowed. Yet Marcus could see subtle nods among the younger members, a flicker of understanding. This trial was not just about him. It was about showing that humans could rise above prejudice, beyond doubt, and claim respect through courage alone. Marcus exhaled, feeling a mix of exhaustion and exhilaration. The path ahead would be harder than anything he had ever faced, but he also knew something vital. He was not alone, and being human did not make him weak. It made him extraordinary in ways even the most advanced beings could not yet comprehend. As the council debated into the night, Marcus stood with Alara, ready to face every challenge that came, knowing that courage, heart, and humanity itself could bend even the rigid laws of the stars. The halls of the palace were quiet that night, but Marcus felt no peace. Shadows moved unnaturally, stretching along the walls like living things. The council's murmurs had grown into threats behind closed doors, whispers of action that would remove him from Alara's side. Some believed a human could never survive the treacherous games of Zarinthia's politics. Marcus understood their fear, but he did not share it. His heart thrummed with something stronger than worry, determination. He wandered into the palace gardens, seeking the familiar grounding of the wind on his face, the strange, glowing flowers that swayed as if alive. The night was surreal. The alien flora emitted a soft, pulsing light, and the twin moons reflected off the crystalline paths. It should have been beautiful, but Marcus could feel the tension coiling around him. Something was coming. Then the shadows struck. Figures moved silently, slipping through the luminous plants with deadly precision. Assassins sent by the council had come, testing whether this fragile human could endure the danger they believed he could not. Marcus's first instinct was fear, sharp and immediate, but he swallowed it, letting training, instinct, and human ingenuity take over. He dodged swiftly, leaping behind the tall, glowing ferns and grabbed a fallen branch. It was crude, barely a weapon, but it was enough to make the first attacker pause. Another lunged, their long, armored limbs reaching for him, but Marcus rolled, kicked, and threw the branch with precision born of desperation. Each move, each decision was a gamble, yet somehow he stayed ahead, using the garden itself as an ally. From above, Alara watched in astonishment. Her heart raced not with fear but with admiration. Marcus, a single human among warriors trained for centuries, moved with a brilliance that even her eyes had not predicted. His mind worked quickly, seeing opportunities where others saw obstacles. His courage was undeniable, his instinct sharp. She realized with a quiet thrill that the council had underestimated more than a human's body. They had underestimated the human spirit. By the time the last attacker fell, Marcus was panting, his clothes torn but his eyes shone with triumph. He had survived not because he was the strongest or the fastest, but because he was clever, adaptable, and unyielding. Even in the face of overwhelming odds, he had refused to back down. Alara descended from her vantage point, her footsteps soft but confident. She reached him, brushing dirt and torn fabric from his shoulders. "You were brilliant," she said softly, her eyes glimmering with pride. "Not many could have faced that and survived." Marcus exhaled, finally letting the adrenaline fade. He looked at her, his chest swelling with a mix of relief and exhilaration. "I had to," he said simply. "If I wanted to stand with you, I had to prove I could survive no matter what." Alara smiled, a rare, gentle curve of her lips. She understood then that this human was extraordinary, not in the way her warriors were, not in the way her council expected, but in a way that defied expectation entirely. Humans could improvise, adapt, and face danger with a fearless heart that no amount of training could match. For Marcus, the night had changed something fundamental. He realized that being human was not a weakness. It was a strength others could not predict or contain. And Alara, who had chosen him against all reason, was right. Together, they could face challenges that spanned worlds and stars. The palace returned to its uneasy calm, but Marcus no longer felt fear creeping in the shadows. He had faced death and survived. He had proven that human ingenuity and courage could rival centuries of alien experience. And as he looked at Alara, standing proud and unwavering beside him, he knew one truth with absolute clarity. The universe would have to reckon with humans now, starting with him. The council might have tried to undermine him. The assassins might have tested him. But Marcus had discovered something more powerful than any alien weapon: the unstoppable resilience of the human spirit, combined with the trust of a queen who believed in him. And that realization made him ready for whatever came next. The palace was unusually quiet the next morning. Marcus stood at a balcony overlooking the sparkling city of Zarinthia, his mind still racing from the events of the night. The assassin's attack had shaken him, but it had also strengthened something inside him, a conviction that being human was not a limitation, but a unique advantage. Every challenge he had faced on Earth, from survival in harsh conditions to moments of impossible decision, had prepared him for this moment in ways the council could never understand. Alara joined him silently, her presence as steady as ever. She did not speak immediately. Instead, she gestured toward the horizon where massive ships hovered in the atmosphere, their forms sleek and intimidating. The council had summoned them to investigate an ancient threat, one long forgotten in Zarinthian archives. A mysterious intelligence, older than any known civilization, had begun moving through the galaxy, consuming planets, cultures, and knowledge without mercy. It was a force no traditional army could defeat. Alara's gaze turned to Marcus, her eyes glimmering with a mix of worry and trust. "This is why I chose you," she said softly. "Your species is unpredictable. Your mind does not follow patterns the way other beings do. Where my warriors see rules, you see possibilities. Where my council fears chaos, you see opportunity. The galaxy needs that now." Marcus felt the weight of her words settle over him like a heavy cloak. The threat was enormous, more vast than anything he had imagined. Entire civilizations could fall if they failed, and yet her trust in him was absolute. It was terrifying and exhilarating. He realized that this was no longer just about politics or personal choice. It was about survival, about proving that humans could rise to challenges that even the most advanced beings could not. The council convened to present their findings. Holographic displays flickered, showing worlds already lost, fleets destroyed, civilizations erased. Alien leaders whispered anxiously, their multi-limbed hands clenching. The assembly's fear was palpable, but Marcus noticed something interesting. While they panicked, he felt clarity. Humans thrived under pressure, thinking creatively when others froze. His mind began spinning, considering strategies, improvisations, and alliances no one else would attempt. Alara watched him, her trust unwavering. "You will help us," she said. "You will guide our decisions, and together we will face this threat. Do you understand what is required?" Marcus nodded, swallowing hard. "I understand," he said, "but I also know that survival alone is not enough. We must be clever, unpredictable, and united. We cannot fight this like we fight armies on the battlefield. We must fight with minds and hearts, not just weapons." The council muttered among themselves. Many were skeptical. A human, they thought, could not possibly grasp the complexity of a galactic threat. Yet Marcus's calm confidence and clear reasoning forced even the most stubborn skeptics to pause. For the first time, they began to see the potential in human thought, human creativity, and human courage. Alara placed a hand on his shoulder. "You are extraordinary, Marcus," she said quietly. "Not because you are perfect, but because you are human. You will lead where others hesitate. You will inspire when others despair. The universe has never seen someone like you, and it may never see another." Marcus felt something swell inside him, a mixture of fear, pride, and determination. He understood now that the council's disbelief, the threats against him, the dangers he faced, were all small compared to what lay ahead. The revelation was clear. Humans were not insignificant. Their unpredictable minds, resilient hearts, and stubborn courage made them capable of shaping the destiny of stars. He looked at Alara, seeing both the queen and the warrior, and felt a surge of connection and purpose. They would face the unknown together, and he would prove that humans were not just survivors, they were changers of galaxies. The revelation was not only about the threat, it was about him, about humanity, about a future no one else could imagine. And in that moment, Marcus made a silent vow. He would rise, he would lead, and he would show the galaxy that being human was more powerful than anyone had ever believed. Days turned into weeks, and Marcus found himself living in a world that was both alien and intoxicating. The palace of Zarinthia, once cold and intimidating, now felt like a crucible where he was being shaped into something greater than he had ever imagined. Every sunrise, the twin moons casting silver light across the city, reminded him of Earth. But here, life was brighter, sharper, and filled with possibilities no human mind could have foreseen. Alara moved with him through these days like a shadow of strength and warmth combined. She taught him the intricacies of diplomacy, the subtle cues that could sway the council, and the strategies needed to navigate the galaxy's complex politics. Yet, beyond lessons and briefings, she allowed moments of quiet connection. They would walk through the palace gardens at night, the alien flora glowing softly beneath their feet, speaking in words that carried no formality, only honesty. Marcus began to understand the weight of her responsibilities. Alara had ruled for centuries, balancing power, duty, and expectation in ways no human could ever imagine. Yet in her eyes he saw something rare, trust, genuine and unwavering. She relied on him not for his strength or knowledge alone, but because of his heart, his courage, and his capacity to see solutions where logic failed. Humans were unpredictable, yes, but she had learned that unpredictability was a kind of power the galaxy had never truly respected. One evening, as they stood overlooking the glowing city, Alara spoke softly. I've faced countless wars, endless negotiations, and threats that could erase entire civilizations. And yet none of it prepared me for the fear I feel in trusting someone so fragile. But I also feel something stronger than fear. I feel hope. Because you are human, Marcus, and humans do not bend easily. You endure, you fight, you adapt. Marcus felt a lump in his throat. He had never imagined that a queen of such power would see him not as a curiosity or a pawn, but as an equal, as a partner. I've survived my whole life with nothing but courage and instinct, he said quietly. I don't know if I deserve your trust, but I'll do everything I can to honor it. I won't fail you, Alara. I won't fail anyone counting on me. She turned to him, her hand brushing his arm, a gesture simple but filled with meaning. It is not about deserving, she said. It is about what we can do together. You bring something no one else can. Hope, creativity, and a spirit that refuses to break. That is why you stand beside me now. In that moment, Marcus felt the true depth of their bond. It was no longer just a declaration in a courtroom, no longer just politics or survival. It was partnership, two beings from entirely different worlds, learning to trust, rely, and inspire each other. Every glance, every touch, every shared laugh or word carried a weight heavier than any council decree. The coming days would not be easy. The threat in the galaxy was growing, and the council remained hesitant, torn between fear and awe. Yet Marcus knew something vital: they were stronger together. His courage amplified her wisdom, and her experience sharpened his instincts. Humans were underestimated for generations, but here, standing beside Alara, Marcus felt the undeniable truth of their potential. As they prepared for the next council session, for the next battle, and for the challenges that awaited beyond the stars, Marcus allowed himself a rare moment of pride. Not for his survival, not for his cleverness, but for the simple, profound realization that humans, fragile, small, underestimated, could inspire trust, spark change, and stand as equals among the greatest beings in the galaxy. Alara placed a gentle hand on his shoulder, her eyes reflecting the twin moon's glow. We face the stars together now, Marcus, she said. Whatever comes, we do not face it alone. Marcus looked up at her, his chest swelling with purpose. In her eyes he saw belief, challenge, and possibility. For the first time he understood what it meant to truly belong, not just to a place, but to a cause, a partner, and a vision bigger than any human or alien could imagine. And in that quiet, glowing night, Marcus felt the bond between them solidify, unbreakable and ready for whatever the universe would throw at them next. The grand hall of the council was alive with tension. Aliens of every shape and color filled the chamber, their voices buzzing in nervous anticipation. Marcus stood beside Alara, his human heart pounding with a mix of pride, fear, and determination. This was the moment that would define not just his life, but the galaxy's perception of humanity. Every eye in the room was on them, some skeptical, others curious, all uncertain. The council leader rose, his 6 eyes narrowing, and spoke with a voice that echoed like thunder. Queen Alara, you have defied tradition. You have chosen a human, a fragile creature from a minor planet to stand beside you. Explain your reasoning. Alara stepped forward, her presence commanding silence. Her voice rang clear and strong, yet it carried warmth and certainty. I have chosen him not because he is human, but because he is remarkable, because he sees beyond rules, beyond fear, because his courage is unmatched and his heart is unwavering. Marcus has faced threats, challenges, and judgments that would break any other being, and he has risen every time. The council murmured, some in disbelief, some in reluctant respect. Marcus felt his chest tighten, but he did not step back. For the first time, he realized that being human did not make him weak, it made him extraordinary. The council had judged him by his species, not by his spirit. Tonight, that judgment would change. Alara continued, her gaze sweeping across the room. The galaxy faces a threat that no one else can comprehend. Only someone with unpredictability, with creativity born from survival and courage, can guide us through it. Marcus possesses these qualities. He is human, yes, but that does not limit him. It empowers him. And together we will face the challenges ahead, not with fear, but with strategy, heart, and determination. Silence fell, heavier than any argument or accusation. The weight of her words pressed upon the council. For the first time, they saw the truth in front of them. A human fragile by physical standards stood as a symbol of resilience, ingenuity, and courage. Not only could he survive the galaxy's challenges, but he could inspire, lead, and change the course of events in ways the council had never imagined. Marcus felt Alara's hand on his, a simple touch that carried infinite trust. He exhaled slowly, steadying himself, and spoke, his voice calm yet firm. "I am human, yes. I have made mistakes, faced fear, and endured challenges, but I have never backed down. I will not fail the Queen nor the galaxy. I may be small, but my heart, my mind, and my spirit are unbreakable. And together we will face whatever comes, no matter how impossible it seems." The chamber held its breath. Counselors exchanged looks, some skeptical, some beginning to understand. The young members nodded subtly, and even the older, most traditional leaders were forced to acknowledge the strength before them. Marcus was no longer just a human. They saw him as a force, a symbol, a reminder that courage and spirit were more powerful than size or species. Alara smiled, pride radiating from her eyes. She stepped closer, placing her free hand gently on Marcus's shoulder. "Human, you are mine, and together we are stronger than any threat, any tradition, any expectation. The universe will learn that humans are extraordinary, and this is only the beginning." Marcus looked at her, feeling a surge of purpose and belonging unlike anything he had ever known. For centuries, humans had been underestimated, dismissed, seen as fragile and inconsequential. But tonight, in the heart of an alien council, he proved that humanity could rise, inspire, and claim its place among the stars. The council remained silent, their initial shock giving way to a grudging respect, even awe. They could not deny the bond, the courage, the intelligence that Marcus displayed, nor the Queen's unshakable trust in him. And as the chamber slowly settled, Marcus understood something profound. This declaration was not just about him or Alara. It was about humanity, its resilience, and its limitless potential. Outside, the stars shone brighter than ever. Marcus and Alara stood together, united against the unknown, ready to face whatever the galaxy could throw at them. For the first time in history, a human had claimed a place not just at the side of a queen, but at the center of the cosmos itself. And as the council reluctantly acknowledged their union, Marcus felt a quiet truth settle in his heart. Humanity was no longer overlooked, no longer underestimated. They were extraordinary, and together they would change the stars forever.